everybody, it's Cinnamon Cooney, your Art Sherpa, and today we are doing something super fun. We're going to be doing this really great still life over a multi-part class so we can go deeper into it, really get into the still life and focus on it and study it on our Technique Tune-Up Tuesday. Why did I made it so hard to say? I don't even know why I did that. On the mic is my husband, John.
Hello.
He helps me bring you these fabulous courses and classes and different little programs that we do by making sure all this stuff turns on, that I'm here on time, and that the robotic cameras are doing what they're supposed to do during the class so you can see everything that's going on. Now, I'm going to be explaining every part of this. This is not a demo. This is a class. So I'm going to be explaining this. We're going to be doing it in real time. There won't be any fast forwards. There has been known to be some chatting. There won't be a fast forward.
It does happen.
I don't expect you to draw for this class. We're really wanting to focus on the still life aspect of it. So if you check the description below and you open it up, you're going to see a link to my website, which has the reference photo, nice little watermark on it, and it has the traceable for you. And the reason that we are doing it the size we are today is so that your printer and my printer can do essentially the same things, and you're not having to worry about tiling prints or doing anything complicated. It's just sort of a scale to fit, print it out full page, and then get it on the canvas. So that should make it easy. Now, can you freehand it? Absolutely, and you're welcome to use the reference or the traceable to help you do that. But I feel like for this, it's just going to be easier to get it on there and get into the grapes, you know, because we have so much time to spend with grapes and a glass of wine and a bottle of wine and a candle and a bunch of walnuts. It's a very involved still life that we're going into. All right, let's get on into the materials. I get little. John makes me little.
Make you mini.
So I'm out of the way so you can see the palette, because we let you see the palette. So we're on a 9x12 canvas. I've been asked, can I do this on an 8x10? You can. The traceable being on an 8.5x11 sheet of paper makes it possible easily to do either. You just want your image to fit the canvas that you're working on. And that's really all you have to do. If you want to go real big, you just use a program that tiles the image and you tape it all together, and you can use it like that. Or you can freehand. That is okay. I like drawing. I highly recommend it. There's lots of wonderful drawing channels on YouTube, and I think Proco's the best one. All right. So, well, not the best one, but one of the best ones. On my palette today, I have Mars Black, Burnt Sienna, Phthalo Green, Yellow Ochre, Cad Yellow Medium, Cad Red Medium, Quinacridone Magenta, Phthalo Blue, Ultramarine Blue, Dioxazine Purple, Cad Red. In the center is Titanium White. And right here is Satin Glazing Liquid, a slow drying extender for acrylic colors. It's just a fancy way of saying it slows down the drying time of my paint, so I have longer to blend. It lets my color go further, and I can glaze with it. It's 3 different products in one product. Satin Glazing Liquid. You could also get the gloss. They're both equally fine. They're both equally good. I also have a little mister bottle here of some water if I need. It's just water. If I need to, like, mist.
Now we've reset the stream. We can go back, and let's go ahead and go on to step 1.
No, I'm not ready. I'm still talking.
You're still talking. All right,
I'm still talking. You run down gremlins, and I'm just going to go over this. So in the description, you'll check below. This is also a 3-part class. The Tuesday classes are going to be in the evenings. They're going to be deeper dives. We're going to be going over topics in a more focused way, and we're doing it in a slower real-time pace. So if this is something you're wanting to learn and you're just wanting a class to do it, this is really a great thing. We'll be meeting each Tuesday, and it just takes as many classes as it takes. I expect 3, but my expectations and reality sometimes don't go together. It could be 4, could be 2, but I expect 3. We'll see how well I meet my expectations. The other thing I'm going to talk about is my canvas. I am painting on a Art Alternatives Classic Cotton. It does give my painting a very nice look. I do like these canvases very much. You can paint this on anything you have that you paint acrylic on, that you normally paint acrylic on. If you've never normally painted acrylic, just a regular canvas will do. You can get one at any of the big box stores or any of the big stores, chain stores, and you just want one that's 9x12. That's really all you need. Okay, now we're ready for step 1 and to begin having fun. Because I'm just here to make John run. Step 1. Step 1's super easy, guys. We're going to paint the whole canvas purple. I'm going to take a little Dioxazine Purple, and I'm going to be silly. You don't have to put it out on your canvas like this. It looks like black, doesn't it? but it's not. It's purple. I'm going to put it out like this. You can put it out from your palette. This is just a silly way I do it. Just because I need a thin coat of purple on it. This is called an acrylic ground. I'm going to mist my canvas so none of my paint dries on me while I'm spreading it out. I'm going to take a big brush. You can see that it's purple there. It went woo. It went everywhere. And I'm going to just spread that out. Nice purple canvas. There's a lot of purple and burgundy and wine color in this. So that's why I'm starting it with a purple instead of a black canvas. You could start this on a black canvas. It would be okay. Because it's such a kind of dramatic lighting. It's got some drama in the lighting, doesn't it? That's what really attracted to me. It was the many, many little objects. Sometimes I get in my head that I want to do something that's very busy. Many, many little fun objects. And I liked the rich colors of it very much. All right, I'm coming down here. We're doing super good, making sure all that canvas is covered and colored. That's really all we're doing. Yours could be streaky. It could be dark. You just want to have a nice purple base on here to start so that you're not having to do layer after layer to get the depth. We're still going to do several layers. To get the background, like in the blendy little thing that we want, it's going to take a couple of layers. But look at this nice purple to start. It's amazing how Dioxazine Purple will read as a chromatic black. Fancy way of saying a color that isn't black but appears black to your eye. Chromatic black. If ever you hear anyone saying that, that's all they mean. Color that isn't black but looks black to your eye. This was a number 30 Simply Simmons flat brush on a short handle. You can paint your canvas using any brush you want. The reason I don't have the brushes, I just list general brushes in the descriptions ahead of classes, but I don't list the specific when we're doing them live because I don't know yet. Oh. I have a set of brushes that are set from class to class to class to class, but I don't necessarily use every brush in every class. But I don't keep adding brushes to my brush bucket, so you can collect all of them fairly easily, like Pokemon. Oh. There's a little bit of paint kind of collecting up there, and I want to...
I see it.
I want to kind of...
It'll be sneaky on you and make a little...
It's gonna be a big pain on me, and I'm gonna just brush it down. I'm just using a brush. Again, I don't mind if this is got streaks in it, so I'm just making sure that it's not gathering up there on me.
Right.
Because it got a little wet. Now I'm gonna dry this with my hair dryer. John is going to mute it so you don't have to listen to the sound of my hair dryer. When we come back, I'll show you the next step.
Okay. Well, that seemed pretty good. So thank you guys. Oh my God, goodness. Thank you for everybody. I'm got to talk into my microphone so you can hear me. Sorry, I had my face off to the side. I am a professional at this. There are few people who have seen more paint dry than me. So, buckle up. It's going to get dry in here. Now, don't use heat because heat's bad for your surface. It actually can it can make this paint soft and more sticky. So you really don't want to use that. Just cold air, and you'll see that it dries, and you're just speeding up the curing. So do that. We try to push the commercial break button when I dry, and that's so that the algorithm knows that that's where it should insert an ad and not in the part where Cinnamon's talking. So if you see an ad pop up, I apologize. If we could make it so that no one sees ads, we would make it so no one sees ads. But in this case, it is a function of the algorithm life. So we have to, if we don't tell it where to put the commercial, it does it all on its own.
Yeah.
So we're just going to...
It does 100 of them. If ever I leave it unattended, it puts an ad every 2 minutes.
Oh, goodness.
And on a 2-hour video, that's a lot. Oh, thank you, Heather.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So now what we should have is a dry purple canvas.
Did you check the edges?
I have not checked the edges. I'm going to avoid the edges.
You were just feeling with your fingers and just
because they're going to definitely have something. See, it's going to have something. And this will have something. A little bit, but I got it mostly.
But
I
not
got
too
it
bad.
mostly.
It's not a...
All right, I'll use this chalk. So I'm going to use a chalk pencil to help us visualize what we're going to be doing next, because we're going to be doing a blended background. I know that's not all of our favorite thing. I just did a class on blending so that it might be a little bit easier. And if you're having a lot of trouble with blending, you can catch that class. I do them every once in a while. Sometimes I go back and just teach a thing that I've taught before again because it's fun. All right. And because we always have new people coming in, and you've got to remember that there's new people constantly coming in.
There are new people.
So I'm going to come over from the right-hand side to about the middle of this. This is just a chalk pencil, and I'm going to draw a little loop down here. We're going to have some highlights through here, and then really over here with some dark kind of curving in. I'm just trying to decide how much dark I want to add in. I'm being easier to add, harder to take away. So this is just a chalk pencil to disappear. And so what we want is a brighter area here so that the contrast, that's how light or dark things are, so that the contrast between the objects is great enough for us to see them, because this is a very dark piece. And you want to give yourself some light so you can see the light in the dark. Now I'm going to take a really important tool. This is a 1-inch oval mop. It's a soft brush, and it's ideal for blending. And I'm going to go ahead and get it a little bit wet. And I will go ahead and put some glazing liquid in it so the paint isn't drying in my brush. And I'm going to mix my Dioxazine Purple and my Cad Red. If you need a refresh on what materials we're using in this particular painting, the description below, I put the materials in it. So we're just mixing a little bit of the Cad Red, maybe even a little more of the Cad Red, to the Diox Purple to start. We're going to kind of paint in this little area here. Glazing liquid, and red to Diox Purple. It's kind of a weird combo. If you haven't done it before, it's super effective. And I'm going to come in and kind of really pull this into this part of the painting. And we do a couple layers here to get the look. But this is how we start the look. All right, I'm going to get a little more red into it. We're burgundying it up. A little more red into it. It looks like it's very red, but when you put it over the purple, it will not look that red at all. Just making sure this is nice and warm in the center. Now I've got glazing liquid. I'm going to put some more on my brush, and I'm going to come with the purple. We're going to blend from the corner in. Curling that in. Now this is not as important down here because we're going to have a whole big barrel. But depth is nice, so I'll go ahead and paint it and blend it. Even though I know I'm going to put a whole big barrel there. I'm just grabbing my Dioxazine Purple, which is going to go very dark, very fast. Very dark, very fast. But what's nice about starting with the purple, if you did start with the purple, is that it's going to make sure that your canvas reads as the rich wealth of color that it is. It'll keep it vibrant, and it'll keep it from getting like kind of dead. Now you notice there's like a little bit of a glow there. It's looking pretty good. We're going to dry that, and then we're going to do that whole process again to lighten it up one more shade, but darken these and create some gemmy depth. Gemmy depth.
Gemmy sounds awesome.
Doesn't it sound awesome?
It does.
I like a gemmy depth.
Oh look,
I
got a ding.
You got a ding?
I think that was a gnome ding. It was a gnome.
Gnome ding. We sent out the gnomes. We have text messages if you want to know when we're live. And you can sign up for those. The moderators can throw that. I don't know if we have it for the live stream to throw in, but the moderators can let you know how to sign up for the text.
Okay.
Oh, we have moderators. Those are all the people who are called butterflies that have wrenches. They are not art cops. They are art ambassadors, so be sweet to them. They are there to help you find everything. I've painted 3,000 lessons. Actually, it's more than that now. And they know where all the lessons are. So they're here to be an ambassador and to help you out. And if you have a question, put it all in caps, and I might answer it here on the show, but for sure somebody in chat will help find you the answer, okay?
Yep.
Because we're that kind of a community. Let's try our canvas.
Okay, got it. Oh, got the thing buttons pushed over here, over there, everywhere. Got to push buttons. Okay. Now, Oh, thank you, moderator Phthalo Blue. They just have put up the information on how to join our SMS text messaging system. I will have a graphic for you forthwith. I'm working on it right now in the little text button editor thing. I'm going to save it so that I have it up here later. But if you would like to get a text message, you have to send the message join to the phone number 734-808-0828. If you don't get an answer saying, hey, welcome to the Art Sherpa stuff, you may have reversed those because it's very easy to send the phone number to the address of join because the way that the SMS systems are not always intuitive. They don't make it real, anyway. Up in the phone number blank, make sure you put the phone number, and down in the message part, put the join, and then you should get a response back that says, welcome, you are now part of the Sherpadom, and some other stuff.
Like
how to
looking
stop
at my
to quit,
canvas right now, just checking the blend and everything, seeing where I'm at. Because the dark colors in these particular paints tend to be very shiny, and the light's shining them, I have to, you'll see me tip up just to see things every once in a while. I have to get a better view on things occasionally. All right, I'm going to take my same brush, wipe it out with my towel and put some glazing liquid in it again. Or we're going to just enjoy this. And we'll go ahead and get a little bit of our purple and our red. We're going to come here in the center again. Get a nice red and purple. So this is a challenging background. Dark backgrounds can be really challenging. They can really give us ah.
I get it.
You get it?
I do.
Get it now?
I forget what button I last pushed all the time.
All right, let's go into a darker purple. I'm still using the same brush. It's that 1-inch oval mop. Boy, do we like that brush. And we're going to come here and, again, make the sides richer.
Richer.
And then we're going to come over here and make this also richer. It will, in certain lights, I don't know if you guys remember, there's an artist named Thomas Kincaid a few years back, and he did a whole bunch of lovely paintings. And one of the things that he was sort of known for was that his windows glowed. We're going to have that exact effect in this particular painting. And you're going to have this, this is going to be so rich. People are going to be just like, oh, that's such a nice still life you painted. Because we'll have depth of color. So, from one angle, it'll seem like the canvas is black, but you'll turn a little bit in the light. Mm-hmm. And then it's going to be clearly purple. I'm going to tip up just to make sure that I'm seeing everything. Make sure my blend is super good. I want it to be dramatic enough, you know? I'm going to get a little bit more of my red into my purple. Make sure there's a nice blend coming up here. I just want to give myself ample room to put my darks right into the canvas. I might bring this down a little bit so we can play against the grapes. I'm working it wet into wet.
Oh, I think
so the paint on my canvas is wet, and I'm putting down wet paint, and that's helping with the blend, not just the medium.
I see something works.
Okay.
It does. Check it out.
Oh! There you go. That's where you sign up.
I did it. I made a thing.
We'll text you and let you know. We won't be texting you sales or cryptocurrency or anything like that.
Well, I don't know. Maybe we'll do sales.
We might. Okay, maybe sales, but never cryptocurrency.
No, we'll do videos. You'll get a video talking
about
NFTs,
No NFTs, no cryptocurrency.
No.
All right. So what we should have here, and it'll show a little more when it dries, right, is a very glowing canvas. Now, everything's wet, so it appears kind of dark at the moment. It's a little dark at the moment.
It's not actually. It's pretty colorful.
Okay. Is it?
Yeah, you can. Okay. I mean, you can see a little shine up at the top, but you can definitely see those reds and purples.
Okay, as long as you guys at home are seeing it, okay.
Especially after you dry it, it's much easier to see.
Yeah, I think sometimes when it's wet, it's harder to see.
Yeah.
Harder for me to see, harder for you guys to see, harder in general. That might be true in your own home studio.
Yeah, the side angle is not better. I looked over here, it's just all glare. Oop, that's not
all right, well, let's take the glare out. And now this will take me a little extra time to dry, and the reason is that I use glazing liquid in it, and glazing liquid's whole job is to slow down the drying time of paint.
And it's extra.
This is true when you're doing the hair dryer too. It takes about twice as long to hair dry as normal.
Mm-hmm. So, just take twice as long, and we will go over here and I'll say thank you guys. I see everybody in the chat. It's lovely to see everybody. If you haven't been here in the chat before, I highly suggest that you come and join us. It's a whole lot of fun. We got to see all of our wonderful people out here, and thank you guys for the support. Heather C., I really appreciate it. Always so supportive. We love seeing you guys out here. On Technique Tuesday, it's a cool, like it's like a throwback where we're back to doing the Technique Tuesdays, and that's cool. I like it. It's, now I'm wondering just how long. You can see that it's still a little bit shiny. Yeah, she's still not. It's just you can see here how much the color comes in as it dries, and that's as the sheen goes away. You know that it's curing because it turns more satin than it does gloss. And that was actually another interesting thing. Someone asked if there was a matte color for, like, there's gloss glazing medium, there's satin glazing medium, but there's no like matte glazing medium. And that's because by definition, acrylic doesn't really go matte unless you add an additive that's a matting agent. So naturally, acrylic is just kind of semi-gloss. So you would, to make everything a uniform semi-gloss, would be what we would consider a matting in it, if all things are unequal in those terms, if you know what I mean. Or you don't, which is okay, because I don't know half the time what I'm talking about either. So, just another random guy on YouTube trying to help art people know what to do next. And this is where I'm definitely at the end of anything I have prepared as far as homework goes on what to say, so I can remind you. Oh, click in the link in the description down below, and you can see all that cool stuff, like the free booklets and traceables and reference and the website, and there's a link of all the description materials. And if you need some of those materials, we have a website that we sell stuff in. It's really nice because we work, all the vendors that you see here on our show, we sell their stuff in our store, and we really like anything that we try to only use this, the stuff that we can sell. That way we know that you can get it from a good source. And we like these companies. We have good relationships with them, so we really endorse that kind of stuff. So, anyway, I was something for me to blather on about while we were waiting for the paint to dry.
Waiting for the paint to dry. So I'm hoping, I don't know if you guys at home can see the lightness of the canvas. Can you see the red clearly in the center?
Yes.
Okay, as long as we can see the red clearly in the center. Now I'm going to take the traceable. This is printed out from my computer. On the back side, I have taped a product called Ceril paper. Let me pull it down so you can see the product. I don't work for the company. They don't even know who I am. Wax-free Ceril transfer paper. This is fantastic for traceables. I have it in yellow, blue, red, and white, and you can also get it in black. I have it in multiple colors. That way it always shows up on whatever I'm painting, because it'd be tough to only have blue Ceril paper on the blue sky day. It's just camouflage. But this one is white, and so it should show up very, very well. The line drawing is here. I've got it affixed with tape and 4 points, and I'm going to put this where I want it on my canvas. Place that where I want it on the canvas. Kind of a fussy bit of kit to tape it down. Why do we tape it down? So it doesn't move on us, because if the traceable moves...
traceable moves.
If the traceable moves, it's no good for anyone.
That sounds like a soap
I've
opera.
got a pencil. I'm going to put it in my sharpener. So I'm just going to use a pencil.
Yeah.
Just a pencil.
It's like an 80s soap opera for artists as the traceable moves.
Is it so the traceable moves?
So the traceable moves.
There we go. A little bit sharper. I also have a handheld one. And what we do is we come here and we just trace over every line, pressing hard. I recommend actually using a colored pen if you have one, so you can see where you've been.
Pressing hard shouldn't make your hand hurt, though.
Your hand shouldn't hurt, but it's got to be firm enough to transfer the Cero paper from your traceable to your canvas.
Firmly.
Firmly. Don't like poke holes in your paper or your canvas, but you know. I'm going to kind of bend this up to see if I can see that it's going off on my canvas well, and it is. So I always check that. Checking it early on in grapes. Because I can, if I get a little double exposure here on the grapes, I can always come back and put them in the hand pretty easily.
Oh.
They are just a bunch of little wonky circles. Now, a 9x12 can be a little more challenging to paint. Sometimes it's easier to paint bigger, but it is not easier to draw bigger. When you draw bigger, little mistakes become epic mistakes.
I can imagine.
Even if you want to freehand something, if I was doing it bigger, I would do it on a piece of paper, freehand it out on the paper, like the old masters, and then transfer that onto your canvas. Then you will have the pride of having freehanded it, but you won't have the aggravation of discovering how hard it is to draw big and not have any mistakes. Well, some people are that good. They work on their drafting skills to the point that they can just freehand. I freehand sometimes. Actually, pretty often. Sometimes I freehand and paint when I'm feeling like really saucy. Let's just do this in paint. Do the grapes first because they're the fussiest bit of kit.
Fussy. Oh, thank you, Angela.
Angela, thank you. So appreciate you guys. If you are a patron over on Patreon or on our website, there's a post for you in the Facebook official group for patrons, and there's a pinned post that anybody can read on Patreon about like what's happening. You're not locked out. It's just a weird redirect on our website, and I have the explanation of what's happening and how to fix it. Pinned there.
And it's so lovely to see all of our friends out here, Lynn and Norma, Angela, and I saw Darcy and Thea and Shelby. There's just like, it's like romper room up in here.
It is. All right, we're gonna come down. We're gonna do the glass in now. This is why we do this over multi-days. Just putting this image onto your canvas is its own bit of effort. Just getting this on is its own effort, let alone doing the painting, the underpainting, all of it. Sometimes people think that because I provide traceables, I'm not for drawing. I am very much for drawing. I think drawing is super fun. Sometimes I draw with my patrons just for fun. But I also understand that drawing can come with some childhood trauma, like for real, because sometimes people can be really mean about drawings, like really mean, and they don't realize that they're commenting like almost on a person's soul when they make critical comments about a drawing. And so I know that people can get afraid of drawing and intimidated by drawing. And you'll quickly learn with the traceable that a lot of this kind of vanishes as the painting goes in, and you have to be able to do all of it anyways, which is why this is an old 11th century technique, right?
Yeah.
Old technique. Invented by people much more brilliant than us. We're pretty brilliant. The drawing of the traceable. This is a good time if you have any questions, because I've got to be at this a minute to ask them. I still got to get walnuts in. So go ahead and throw any questions you have all in caps. John will look for those.
Yep, I was just double checking some other technical details.
Technical details.
All right, let me go back over here and see what community questions we have.
Community questions. Not necessary, but are lovely.
So Thea was noticing that those grapes are particularly dark near the edge of the barrel, and is like, I'm curious how that's going to translate. I guess we're going to see.
We're going to find out, aren't we?
We're going to find out.
Sometimes from reference photos, I take a real like, well, we'll find out, won't we, kind of attitude.
And, well, that's also because the cinnamon does not at all feel compelled to stay bound by a reference photo. It is a loose suggestion at best.
Now we'll be a little bit more attentive to this particular one because we're focusing, we're studying, we're doing an art study.
Well, you're right.
Otherwise, I'd edit these walnuts right out.
If you're studying something, that's different than when you're just like, oh, we're gonna paint this thing today, kind of like this, like, you know. This is what I think a rainbow wallaby should look like.
If we get through this, okay, maybe we'll do a pomegranate.
Ooh,
we're feeling super challenged.
I'm feeling hungry now.
Yeah, still lifes can make you hungry. Or maybe a complex floral still life. Everyone really likes the multi-part classes because it lets them like do a little bit, share it in group. I have a group on Facebook, the Art Sherpa Official. And it is a group for beginners who paint with me. And we keep it curated. So, like, if anything gets mean or untoward, man, it's out. It's out. We don't do fighting or any of that.
You get yeeted.
You get yeeted.
Thank
not
you, Pam.
just generally. We're not just yeeting people left and right. But, you know, if somebody is just, you know, in there being mean about people's drawings, that's not going to be okay.
With the liberal application of banhammer to those individuals who like to speak not nicely.
Yeah. Yep, it's just a done deal there. But like, it is a good place to share your first paintings, to share your painting progress that you do tutorials with me. It is kind of a group for tutorials with me, that's true, but it's a great place. We do have Fridays, which is Fine Art Fridays, where we let people post their originals. If they're painting with me on Fridays. Candle is a very complex little bit of kit here. I'm definitely going to be painting that handle with a detail brush.
Ooh, bring my microphone closer over here.
Candle's like one of my favorite things. And yes, I'm going to do the radiant light. Or we're going to do the radiant light. It's not just me. You're doing it with me. We're doing this together.
Together.
Yeah. Anyways, come by the Art Sherpa official group and you can share your painting in stages. It's a great place to do that. Now, if I have done this is the reveal moment, correctly, all of the lines from the traceables should be transferred onto my canvas. Isn't that a cool product?
Yeah.
Saral paper, S-A-R-A-L, makes life less aggravating to the nth degree. To the nth degree. Alrighty. Goodness gracious. What time is it?
It is 36 after the hour.
It's 5:36?
Yes.
Oh, excellent. So we've got tons of time. Kids have scouts tonight, so we can't go all night. That's a guarantee that you are going to be let out of the still life at some point in the journey. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start the grapes. I'm going to take a number 4 Raphael Sepia round. Is this a special brush? It is a special brush, but it's not a specialty brush that you can only do this technique with. You have to have that brush. I don't do that kind of painting where you have to have a brush to do a technique. I have brushes that I think do techniques great, but you may have your own brushes that you like better, and here that is okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and take this, and I'm going to grab some Dioxazine Purple, and I'm going to bring it, interestingly enough, over to my Phthalo Blue. I bet you didn't see that coming.
Mm.
And we're going to start to paint in all these little circles.
This is a new step.
This is a new step. Sorry.
It's okay.
I thought you knew that.
Mind your feet there. Don't want to step on you.
And we're just going to paint all the little circles in. I am not going to worry at this stage to take out the chalk lines. Those can disappear with a damp brush later. And sometimes leaving them a little bit in can help when you're trying to like find all the highlights. Because we really see the grapes from the highlights. Phthalo Blue and Dioxazine Purple. What will shock you is that it's darker than the background significantly. Oh, I feel it. I think that might shock you. You might be like, no, that was very predictable. I don't know why you think I'd be shocked. But sometimes, even now, even after all these paintings, even growing up in an art studio, even having done 3,000 plus classes on YouTube, even all that, I still find magic and moments in the painting. Backup iPad if the first one dies. I have learned to bring a backup. I have learned to bring a backup. But what's nice is we're going to do some underpainting here. So we're okay. It'll be fun to paint all these little grapes in. Grape painting. Sometimes I dip in water and I swirl it around to thin the paint and improve the flow. This is also chromatic black.
What do you mean by that? Chromatic
Black is a fancy, fun way of saying it looks like it's the color black, but it has no black in it.
Ah.
Just a fancy way of saying it.
So
like
it is...
sgraffito is a fancy way of saying scraping away. Chiaroscuro is a fancy way of saying I shaded some stuff. There's some really fun Italian words for some art things that at first sound super intimidating. You'll be next to somebody and be like, I love the use of sgraffito, and you just think, well, that's a lot. And then, but when you realize, oh, you just mean scrapey, got it. Okay, yeah. Nice scrapey.
Huh. Interesting.
What's interesting? Me or something else? I feel like it's something else.
It is something else. I'm going to try a little thing here.
Should I stop painting?
Hold on just 2 seconds. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to try something.
Okay.
I got an idea.
Stop painting.
You stop painting.
We're just painting grapes. I feel so quiet.
Okay. I think we're back.
Are we back?
Yes.
From outer space?
From a place elsewhere in the land of time.
I'm going to grab some glazing liquid. That's just to improve the flow of my paint.
Okay.
Now, if you used Dioxazine Purple and Phthalo Blue on a non-pre-painted canvas, like so it wasn't painted with a bunch of burgundy in purple ahead of time, it would look like an indigo blue, not a black. The big thing about doing a still life is to just take it slow and take it in steps. Still lifes are big paintings. They have a lot going on. They take a little longer than some other stuff. Well, it depends on how you're painting them. If you're painting them in detail, they take a little bit longer than other stuff. But it's just every time you add an object to a painting, every object adds time. Fastest painting in the world is just a white sand beach with a bright blue sky, and the ocean is the same color. That goes in 2 seconds. I think I've done that painting in 20 minutes.
And if you need the traceable, there should be a link to it in the description down below.
So open up the description. There's a link to the website. It says traceable. It's going to take you to a video page. That's where you're going to see the reference photo. You're going to see what the materials are. I'll add in part 2, part 3, part 4, however many parts there is to that page there. So you can always find all your resources there. And there'll be a download kind of, it's at the top if you're on your phone, it's to the left if you're on a desktop that says download the traceable. Or if that's all too much, you just go to the traceables tab. Just still painting grapes.
Still painting grapes. There we go.
Still painting the grapes. Painting the grapes. That's what we're doing. We're just filling in all the grapes. Don't get crazy and go fill up the walnuts. They're different colors. And we've got some loose grapes. Just a fuzzy little thing. Paint in all grapes. It's almost like coloring at this stage. It almost is. Now I'm going to dry everything thoroughly with my hair dryer. When we come back, I'll show you what we do next. For sure, put on my glasses so I can see better.
All right.
For sure.
So, sorry about the little bit of lagginess that was there. We seem to be experiencing some pretty rough buffering, and that may be a thing here tonight. So I am I'm going to talk to Cinnamon here in just a second and see what she thinks, because I apologize that there has been this much intertube trouble. Normally we don't have this kind of thing. So, I'm going to suggest, Cinnamon, that it's 5:45.
Okay.
And we could continue to go here for a little while, but the internet is having some trouble. So
that bad?
It is, and I'm concerned
about
that. So I'm wondering if we shouldn't pause here, see what I can do about getting some internet resolution.
Well, let's see if you can get the. Or do you mean like?
No, I think
we can keep painting, can't we? Or do we need to go offline?
We got still buffering, so let's see how it goes. It seems like right now it's still allowing us to broadcast, so it's not it's just got low then there it goes and says it's excellent, so it's going to prove me wrong. So you go right ahead.
Okay, it's because you said we were going to go offline.
It's right.
It has to make you like not know what you're talking about. That's what it does.
It
Murphy's
says,
law.
I'm sure that the algorithm was like, oh no, they're going to go offline. Go fix it. Okay.
Okay.
CB says they're doing well. Okay, so all right, we're just gonna keep rolling on. Okay. Now this has got to be another step, doesn't it?
This is gonna be another step.
All right.
Step 6. I'm gonna get a little glazing liquid on my brush here. I'm gonna get a little bit of white, and I'm gonna come over here to the blue purple mix. Phthalo Blue, Dioxazine Purple, and I'm gonna get some white. I'm going to come to the front. Front. Get the front of all these little grips.
Yeah.
Them all with a little bit of this purple. So it's Phthalo Blue, Dioxazine Purple, a little bit of white, glazing liquid to keep the paint color wet. Not drying out on me. Don't have to use it for the technique though. I keep thinking of that one duck song. Do you have any grapes? Can't get at them. Every time I say grapes, that's just in my head now, like an earworm. Gotta put in some grapes before we go anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Having a lovely time painting grapes. A little bit there. So I'm just catching the edges. We're just starting to talk about the highlights that give the grapes the shapes. A little less highlight here.
The shapely grapes.
Shapely grapes. The shapely grapes of wrath.
That's the after hours 80s show for artists.
Mm, dude, you know what would have been a brilliant painting show as we paint the front of all these grapes?
Mm.
Is an Elvira style painting show.
That's
That would have been fantastic. I feel like we all missed out, don't you?
the, I think it would go over quite well. It would be all about the guest appearances.
Would, and they would paint along, and that would be so funny. I definitely don't believe in doing drinking and painting because one does not get better at painting for drinking. I taught at a painting party place. I can promise you that.
Nope.
Like a glass of wine can be helpful. 20 glasses of wine ceases to be helpful if the goal is painting.
I don't know who that helps.
I don't either.
20.
So that's excessive. You can tell I don't drink. That's excessive.
That seems like you're trying to win a prize that you shouldn't win. Like
It's not a good prize, man. I'm just adding little hints of them because when I put the dark shadows in around the grapes, I will want these highlights so I know where these little suckers were. Otherwise, I lose them all. If you were to paint all the dark black in now, you would have no grapes. So that's why we take this chance to just paint them in. And we're just using that number 4 Raphael sepia round. Could be a number 6. It would still be fine. This isn't a place where your painting is going to like succeed or fail. Just a round brush that you like. This particular reference photo is lit from many places, so it's a good study in light. You've got the light coming down in the background. You've got some forward-facing light. You have the candle coming in, lighting things. It's light coming from everywhere. And that's always a fun thing to like worry about. How are we doing on the buffering?
I think it's all better. We scared away the bad guys.
Did we scare away all the painters, though?
No, they're all still here.
You guys are amazing. Thank you for being here. I did a little touch there so I don't lose that grape. Sometimes you just don't want to lose your grapes. How involved are the grapes? Pretty involved. But actually pretty involved. This is just that first dusty cover. This is just the start. You don't have to be perfect. Right now you're getting the start of it all. You're going to get the start of it all. Now I'm going to take a little bit of my Phthalo Green. I'm going to burn Sienna together. And just to make sure that we've got some stems, I'm going to paint in a little. Oh, I forgot a grape. See, that's how great it is when you go to paint in something. You'll be like, oh, I see you there. I'm going to come put like maybe a stem showing here. Then I'm going to come over to my yellow and get that involved. So that's burnt sienna, phthalo green, and now yellow. Still on my round brush, same round brush. A lot more yellow. Painting a little bit of stem so that it really shows for us. Rinse out. Grab a little more grape color because I didn't paint in this grape. Sometimes in a complex image, right, you'll lose things, and it's important to put them back. There's a lot going on. A lot going on. Okay, let's dry that. So we have some grapes. They got some highlights. They've got some shadows. We're doing pretty well. We don't need to take out the white lines yet, so we can still have our nice little woobie lines.
That seems all good.
All good, right?
Yeah. All right. It's still going. We got the grapes. Keep going. There's just some grapes. We'll dry the grapes and then go on to the next segment. Da-da-da. Da-da-da. We'll put the grapes in. Oh, she was fast. You go back over here. I was expecting there to be more grape drying than that.
No, there wasn't a lot of glazing liquid in there, so it wasn't so bad.
All right, well, before we got to take a breath here for a second, make sure you're feeling good.
Yeah?
Well, I want to give the people, because I push the commercial break button when you dry.
Oh.
And I don't
I'm going to sip some kombucha then.
You sip some kombucha because I want them to
And if there's
have a
any
chance.
questions, I can answer them while we're calmly and carefully and relaxedly painting some grapes. That's all we're doing. Painting in the background, painting some grapes, did traceable. That's all we're doing.
Let's see here. I'm just going over and do. I think that so many live questions.
So many.
Oh, there was an interesting question earlier. What do you think of outsider art?
Love it. Think it's genius.
Yeah.
Think it's a whole viable art form. Have a huge amount of respect for it. And I can fully tell where an artist is coming from, if they love outsider art or not. Because sometimes when artists are trained like classically, they get very strong opinions on what is art and what isn't art. And what outsider art reminds you of is that there's vibrant, viable, amazing art that comes from non-traditional spaces and non-traditional artists that's totally wild and amazing and worth our time and our consideration. And, when you've been painting a bit, you start to just respect the other artists. You start to respect the whole process and different art forms. And you actually, I think, become less judgmental.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does.
Because you start to really appreciate, all of the ways that we become artists, be it self-trained or, trained through academia. It doesn't really matter. They're just different sides of the same coin.
That was great. A lot of people wanted to know what that was.
Outsider art is when somebody it is a movement of art where somebody is untrained in a classical sense, or they're doing artwork that comes from that. It can be very rustic. It can be, there's a word that I cannot remember because it's 5:30 at night.
Oh.
It's a perfect word for this. It just explains it in one word, and now I can't remember it.
Bohemian?
Well, it could be bohemian, but it speaks to the aesthetic in a more general sense. Man, it'll come to me. What'll happen is it'll come to me, and then I'll blurt it out. And
she'll be painting grapes, and then she'll say it. Now, is there last question before you go on?
I don't need to go on. I'm happy.
Oh, okay. So how do you keep your paint from drying on the thing? So
this is a wet palette, which there's a sponge under here that's wet, and this paper is soaked before I put the paint down, and it has a lid. So it will close up after, and that will keep my paint fresh for weeks. Then I also, if it's just dry, because in the winter we start running all the heat and everything, and then our paint starts just drying out on the palette, like SpongeBob in the sun. So I mist it with some water.
Right.
Just water and a micro mister. And that's all it takes to keep my paint juicy, wet, and ready to go. That's good.
That's good.
I got to remember that word. It's just gone. You ever just lose a word? Just gone.
Constance, is the word untrained?
Well, traditionally, an outsider artist wouldn't be trained, but it's more about the whole, aesthetic process, the different thinking. Oh man, it's just
now we enter
I
into
can
the
list a bunch of
portion. We enter into the charades portion of the Art Sherpa show. Folk art?
It'll come to me. It'll be like the second class. I'll just blurt it out. Okay. I
All right, we'll get
will.
stepping.
We're gonna step, and then because I'm stepped, then my brain will start to give me a break on this. Now I'm gonna take a little bit of my Quinacridone Magenta. I'll bring some of my Dioxazine Purple over here. Doesn't take a lot. Little Quinacridone Magenta, and I'm gonna bring a little white. And I'm gonna come into like maybe this grape right here. Well, that's a little bit brighter than I wanted. A little bit darker. And start to put in a little bit of a glow. Mm-hmm. Some of these have a little bit more of a glow in them. This is like it's got a different hue in the purple. Might want to be up close on this so we can see it, if we can. This is kind of like a light effect that's on them where the purple starts to show, and then we'll come back and put some dark in. Kind of putting it to the back of the grape. A little bit there. It's more focused here because this is where the candlelight is hitting. That's why we're doing this up here. Because the candlelight is impactful. Rinse out. I might go back into my dark color. And make sure that my grapes are painted flush to each other. Sometimes in avoiding the chalk line, you'll kind of almost make a stained glass kind of effect, and which is great if you're trying to do that, but it's a pain when you're not. So I'm just going to come here and just kind of put that back in so that my grapes are rich. Rich grapes. Rich.
Now, do you find is there any difference between the big Stay Wet palette and the small one?
Room and comfort. I like the 15 by 15 with the 9 by 12 side pocket, and then it comes with a bunch of little cups. I don't want the cups, those just go, and that holds my brushes.
Gotcha.
I love that one. Tapping this in through. Grapes are a little bit of a back and forth, a little bit of a dance. That makes me think of Lucille Ball in the grape episode when she and Ethel like squished the grape. I remember that as a kid. I thought that was one of the funniest things I ever saw. Loved it. Of course, I loved Dean Martin and all this kind of like old timey stuff. Martin Lewis, a whole bunch of. Wasn't a fan of the Three Stooges though. I never liked mean humor. Not that it's not. I mean, if you
Me
love it,
either.
that is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. They're artists, and I always tell my kids like if a movie is scary or whatever, to not ever be afraid because a bunch of artists just got paid. I'm like all this scary stuff, somebody had to make it, and that's an artist that loves doing that, and they all just got paid. And that takes away all the scary scenes in movies. Now my kids are not scared of any movies.
Right.
They're like, that's an artist getting paid. And that's never scary. Now I'm starting to fill in some spaces because it's quite dark between the grapes. See how I'm coming between?
Mm-hmm.
Starting to be grapes. It's amazing how it comes in. I grabbed a little bit of water and I'm thinning that into my right here. Right here. I'm glad we got a little further into the grapes. I wanted to get into the grapes a little bit further today. I'm just making sure that my grapes are plump.
Yep.
A little bit of the quinacridone. Grab a little of my blue white over here. Just a hint. A hint there so we can see that little guy just peeking. He's just peeking. It was funny.
Just lots of nice comments in here.
Oh,
Lots
I
of nice
love
people
the.
talking.
You guys are so amazing. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you for being here. Do a lot of stuff with your time. I appreciate you trusting me to take you through the still life. So we have at the forward edge of each grape a highlight, and then in the middles here, we've started to warm them up with a little bit of that burgundy and dioxazine. Now I've got to dry it, and I'm going to clean up my chalk lines a little bit.
Yeah.
Yep, so I can see what I painted better.
Ooh, this sounds dangerous.
It is.
Okay, so we're gonna watch this and see what happens in the next place. I'm not exactly sure what to expect here. We'll have to see, because the grapes, they're looking pretty good to me. I didn't even need to make that rhyme, but I rhymed it anyway.
Did you rhyme a thing?
We had a minor patron request. I think it would be, could we put a little wish in there for all of like on the barrel where you're gonna paint over it later?
Yeah.
How about a wish for well-being for all of the people? Just a wish of well-being. There we go. That will work.
Let me find the right pencil that will write on this, though. I gotta find one that will actually write on this.
Wish of well-being inspired by Amy.
There you go.
Thank you, Amy. That's a great inspiration.
That is a good one. I can do that. And if I gotta remember, I can do those wishes in the chalk.
You can wish if you want to.
You can wish if you want to.
You can have your Sherpette friends around.
So I'm only using a filbert grainer because it's all feathery and it'll clean everything up, but it doesn't have to be a filbert grainer.
Is this a step?
This is a step.
It's a step.
Step up.
It's a 8-step.
Now we're gonna actually put some very light highlights back in, right? But we have to make sure that. And this is what I mean. The traceable goes away.
It's traced. It is an illusion.
I don't want to take it all away. I'm just doing the grapes. Just the grapes, so I can see those. Maybe the vine. So we can see what it looks like without that white outline.
That looks pretty fancy.
It's fancy.
Fancy grapes.
Fancy.
You know, those are them $8 a bunch grapes that are like,
yeah,
they have a name. They're like Tuesday afternoon crunchy grapes.
These are Tuesday afternoon crunchy grapes. Apple, some sort of crispy autumn something.
Yeah, right. It's like a crispy autumn grape. It's like
Ooh, my brush is too wet, so I'm going to go pick that water up. come back into my paint and get a nice application. And I'm just going to make sure that my grapes are flush to each other. So we really see the grapes in the highlights.
You know, we always know when Amy's here because there's a smiling face in chat.
Aww.
I mean, actually, there's an actual. It's just like she just comes with a smiling face all the time.
She just brings her smile.
Yeah, you can see it right through the chat.
All right, we're going to get a little bit more white onto the brush. I'm going to grab some glazing liquid here. And a little bit of my blue color. Get kind of a thin application. We're going to come along the edge.
Amanda agrees. These are solidly in the splurge at the grocery store for grapes category.
Yeah, definitely a splurge. Now I'm going to wipe off my brush. It's kind of flat. And I'm going to smidge. See, I'm smidging the paint before it dries. This is fussy.
It's precision, not fuss.
You can only do a few at a time because you need to do it before they dry.
Gotcha.
Because you're dusting. I like to call this dusting. I'm dusting the grape. I'm giving it that dusty effect.
The fast and the precise.
The fast and the precise. Back into the glazing liquid really does help this. You want enough color to see the color, but not so much color it overwhelms what you're doing. Okay, then I wipe my brush with my towel. And it's sort of pinched. And then I use that pinch to smudge, 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 smudge.
Mmm.
I didn't go very far because I can only do a few grapes at a time.
My. Thank you, Dominique. I appreciate that.
Hi, Dominique. How are you doing?
Such a generous sticker.
Thank you for your sticker. I appreciate it.
It's a
greatly.
big rocket sticker. Thank you.
Oh, I love a rocket sticker. All right, I'm going to put a little bit back here. A little bit right there. Hint. I don't think I'll be able to go any further than these. So I'm in a pinch. But what we can start to see is that our grapes are starting to look like grapes.
See, now you got me thinking about all the kinds of grapes that are out there, like cotton candy grapes, autumn crisp grapes.
Like all the fancy flavors are a version of Concord grapes.
Are they?
I don't know, but they have a Concord taste to them. So I'm like wondering if they're like variants that don't have the Concord double skin. Because I haven't seen Concord grapes in a minute, and I miss them.
I am not a grapeophile.
Put a little bit there, wipe out my brush, and kind of nidge it.
I mean, other than the great grape ape, I don't know a lot about grapes.
Some nudging. Oh, this is just working out very well, my friends.
Mm-hmm.
Today, what have we painted? What did you do today? Background and grapes. But look, if you didn't know what was involved, you wouldn't know what was involved in doing something like this.
Mm-hmm.
How could you know if no one ever told you or explained it? You don't have to know things just by osmosis. That's the best part of being a beginner, is that you get to learn things. I never stop learning. I'm always studying. I definitely am a cup half empty.
Are you?
Hmm.
Hmm.
I've always got room to put more in. To fill my cup. The pinch, the blend.
I like to try to empty the cup, and then that way I can come with an empty cup.
Nah, I don't have my cup empty because you got to be ready for people to be a little bit. You got to have a little bit in today's modern life. You've got to have a little bit in your cup. If you have nothing in your cup, people will pour crazy in your cup and you will be lost.
I
So
carry it.
have a little in your cup. So when somebody comes up with something that sounds really, really wackadoo, you can be like, I don't think
Nope.
things work like that.
You nope out and have more. I'm gonna have more of my. See, that's why.
Otherwise, people will sell you an NFT.
I think I now have an espresso cup. It's very, very small, and it's little bit. You can only put a little bit in at a time. That way, I could. It's like you get to fill the cup. It's full. Time to go. That's all you get. Just that little fill. One little, or maybe it's just I like espresso.
Maybe you do like espresso. All right, I brought the back up so I'm not even down. I'm gonna re-wet that though.
Oh, thank you, Deb. That's another wonderful sticker. You're amazing.
Thank you, Deb.
Thank you, guys.
All right, so we've done about 4 there. Pinch the brush. Now we're smudging it. If you don't have glazing liquids, you can do about 1 grape at a time. It's just, you can do it, but you just have less grape you can do.
So Dominique moved to Sonata 44 years ago.
Oh, wow.
I was like, I don't even know where Sonata is. And I realized that's not Sonata. That's just a misspelling of Canada. Here I'm like, man.
I thought it was like some wine country.
Right, me
I thought
too.
you were telling me about some wine country.
I'm thinking, man, there are some countries I have not heard of.
I just
I
figured
got to
it
look
was
that
like
one up.
like a region or area of California's wine district.
Right, I'm trying to, and I'm like all
Well, I think that's Sonora.
having a
Sonoma.
geography moment, like, where's this place? Rodeo Drive.
Look at our juicy. They're better. Our grapes are going to be better. This is what I love painting because I love photographs and I think photographs are art, but I think we can do things in painting that are really special. I'm going to do the pinch again.
Mm.
That pinch. This is how you get that dusty look. Dusty grape look.
I was all going to look up what the native language of Sonatians is.
Were you really?
Yeah. Like, because I always like to say hello in somebody's native language. So, if
You Google it.
I Google it real quick because there's that awesome translator where you can
love
be
that
like,
translator tool. Look at our grapes.
hello.
Hello. All right, now we're going to dry it, and then we have some little touches to do to our grapes.
All right.
Some little touches.
Grape touch-ups.
Grape touches.
I don't think you're allowed to. I think you have to touch them up now. You can't touch the grapes. It's like I don't know. I think she might have to watch the HR video. I don't know if we're allowed to just touch the grapes anymore. We'll have to see how that goes. Anyway, so I don't. Oh wow, she was fast. That was fast.
It was
very fast.
So fast.
All right, I think is this a new step now?
This is a new step, but it's a short step.
9.
9. We're fine. I'm going to take a little bit of my Cad Red and my Cad Yellow. I'm still using my number 4 Raphael Sepia. I'm going to come here. Add a hint. I mean, it's a hint, guys, of a little glow.
A glow.
This would be from our candle.
Ooh.
Doesn't make sense till the candle's there, but when the candle's there, then that makes a lot of sense why there's a little bit of a warm glow coming back.
Well, thank you guys. You guys all have so much nice things to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Kind of brush the back of that little grape there with a little bit there. This hidden guy's got a bit of a. It's just a little touch. I'll rinse that out. And then I'm going to take a little bit of my black and brown together. I'm going to come in and paint the barrel around the grapes. It's going to be quite dark.
Mmm.
Don't want to paint out my glass.
Paint some behind the glass.
A little brown and black. Just a little bit of fussy fun. You can paint a lot more than you think if you give yourself the time
Mm-hmm.
and the patience. Gotta be patient with yourself. Can't be hard on yourself. If it would help you, I would be like, be mean. Tell yourself mean things to do better if it was effective in any way. But I promise you, being hard on yourself and criticizing yourself in no way helps your art process.
Right.
It's okay to be like, look at a painting and be like, I think I see a mistake there. We all see our mistakes. It's the first thing we see. It's all we see. We don't need to focus on it anymore. We need to focus on what we did right, what worked in our painting. That's the hard part to see is what did you do right? How to be kind to yourself, because what you're kind about and what you can see that you did well, you can duplicate. Becomes part of your techniques, becomes part of your style. So your like assignment besides painting all these grapes,
Right.
besides that, is figuring out what you did well. And I know that's hard. I know I'm asking a lot of you. I'm just coming in and piecing in these like dark values. Because why wouldn't we?
Because you got to fill in the great background.
You got to fill in that background. I think I went out of line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I missed a line.
Oh, line?
Where's my, there it is, my Carbothello.
What line did you cross? Oh. The back, that line there, I see.
Yeah. And it hints through here. Hint.
Yeah, I see it.
Sometimes I'll come in and just make a little adjustments.
Adjustments.
Now, I feel like this was a lot. Getting the traceable on, getting the background in, and getting the grapes to here is quite a lot to do. So let's call that a good stopping place.
We can do that. We can go.
Right.
I just saved this so that we're going to stay here. And we can do this. Yeah. And
if you're here at the end of your grapes, congratulations. That was a lot. You did a lot there. That was a lot to do. That background, getting the transfer on, and painting in all those fussy little grapes was a lot. But you're going to be able to do it, and that's how we're going to do this whole painting. So even though you're like, oh, this is a very complex painting, and oh, there's a lot going on here, we're not going to take it all on at once. There's lots of strategies to paint something. One strategy is to paint everything kind of partially, called an underpainting. You block it all in, and then you sort of bring it all together, and that's a nice loose way of painting. But if you're trying to do a more traditional way of painting, this is a great way of doing that because you're slowing down and really paying attention to each item within its own space. And the overall painting comes out nicer, I think, for our trouble, it comes out much nicer.
I agree.
You know, we'll spend some time with the barrel, we'll spend some time with the wine glass and the bottle, and we'll spend some time with the candle and its walnuts, and we will spend some time with our nice radial light coming out. And we're going to have such a wonderful, maybe this is a gift.
Yeah.
Maybe this is just a gift to yourself that you want a painting you feel like you could frame and put on your wall and be proud of.
You know, and it's an
And we can do that.
experience. Like, I think a lot of the gift is the experience of allowing yourself to learn to paint. Like, the process of painting these paintings
Yeah.
builds skill after skill after skill, and the
Yeah.
time that you take to invest in yourself is worth it.
I think that there, taking time to invest in yourself is worth it. Not everything we do has to have a monetary outcome. Like sometimes we tend to prioritize things that generate income or are monetized in some way. And I think things that are just for the joy of it are as important as all of those things. And spending time to allow your imagination and your creative mind to take a little walk into a painting and enjoy itself and spread its legs and run around, I think is a completely valuable use of time. And then plus think how you will never not understand how to paint grapes again.
The grapes.
You'll be like, when you see grapes now, you're going to have in your mind a little clock that tells you that takes me 2 hours. Right? No, I do. And when I look at a reference photo, I start calculating the time it's going to take me to do. I've painted these things all, so I kind of know it's going to take me an hour and a half to do this. It's going to take me 2 hours to do this. It's going to take me this amount of time to get this technique done. And your time is different than my time.
Right.
Right. But
you can rewind us, pause us, fast forward. We're time lords
and take
here.
your time.
You just like
the wizards of space and time.
Yeah, don't ever think that we're trapped here for all eternity in an endless loop just waiting for you. That's technology.
We are here,
but that's what's
and
happening.
we are just waiting for you. And when
that's
you
true.
show up, we're so happy to have you here. So, guys, I really appreciate today. I cannot wait to see yours. A gentle reminder. So the Facebook group is the Art Sherpa Official. I have a page that just says the Art Sherpa, and I put up like stuff we're going to paint or stuff I'm painting on or that kind of stuff there. But the group is a closed group. And when you join it, you just got to answer some questions to prove you're a human. That's the same for the patron group too. Like we ask you questions to make sure you're a patron and that you're a person. Because like we try to make sure that there's no bots in the group to the degree that we can do that. And so the questions are, I'm not actually like grilling you like, what is your favorite Sherpa painting? I just need you to, you can be like, I don't know, cotton candy. It's just any human answer I tend to take. If you've got an account that's reasonably old, like not made 2 days ago, and you're answering the questions, that's all it is. We're human testing. I'm sure the AI will be able to get around this in 2 seconds, but right now we're human testing. And you can come in and share where you're at in this painting, and you'll get to talk to other people that are doing it too, because right now a whole bunch of people are doing this painting with you. And even if you find this class years later, right?
Yep.
There'll always be somebody else who's in the middle of doing it, and you'll be able to connect and bond over it. So that's a nice thing to have, that support. So be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. And I will see you hopefully this Thursday because we have a fun class, but definitely next Tuesday for part 2 real soon. Bye-bye.